got another video. Describe a time you failed. What happened next? I got you. I failed in my first marriage. A little backstory on it. 2012. I was doing a lot of things, making YouTube videos, recording music. I was in college, damn near on Dean's List. I had a bright future. Here was this woman. Well, she wasn't a woman. She was still a girl, because they say she was going on 18. And I was 20. But she had just turned 18. And we started messing around, and she would come meet me on college campus, and you know, we would drive off. And when I tell you, we did it everywhere. We did it everywhere. We did it in front of the library. We did it in my friend's studio. We did it, we snuck in my mom's house and did it in her room. Man, you can name it, outside of restaurants, you know. Even, you know, when she moved out of her parents' house, I moved to her job, she was giving me little handies behind her desk when I would just sit there because I was cool or whatever. But in that event, we ran off and we got married. We ran to Talladega and we got married against all our parents' wishes, because her parents said we wasn't ready. And they were right. My Bible teacher and everybody else in my surroundings, my ears telling me how I wasn't ready. I wasn't listening. We ran off. We got married. And the failure already starts, because now I got to be a family man. And then I tried to go to school and work. And I had to do one or the other at the time, because it was almost next to impossible to do it in the situation that I was in. Getting a house and all of these things. So everything that I was warned about, reasons not to get married early because I wasn't ready, it started happening. We started having disagreements. We were really kids in the mind trying to be adults, and we was making irresponsible decisions, which led the marriage to us having arguments all the time. And I wasn't being a man, and we wasn't being honest with each other. She was being manipulative. We were toxic for each other. So fast forward, I found out she had cheated on me from a guy at her job. We tried it again. Fast forward years later, we had a baby, and you know, we moved to Texas. We moved back because it was, you know, we had a daughter. We had a baby on the way, and my family was in Houston. Hers wasn't. She wanted a family to have relationship with both sides, and we both got family here in Mississippi. So when we moved back to Mississippi, we ended up having a baby, but then I still wasn't being a man. I was working sometimes, and sometimes I working, and she was carrying the load a lot of times. I put that responsibility on her. I wasn't ready. So she was carrying us a lot of the times, to be honest with you. Yes, I worked here and there, but a lot of times she was carrying us. And so it was times where, you know, we've gotten into arguments. I was verbally abusive. It was times where, you know, she was manipulative. She was lying. She used to threaten to kill herself by trying to drown herself in the bathtub. She would put knife. It was such a toxic relationship. It's not even funny. So this is us being young. And fast forward, she cheated on me again. I was so beta that I stayed in the situation. So fast forward 2017, I finally left the house, got all my belongings, but my beta scarcity mindset tried to get back to the house, and she was like, no, I'm done. But the whole time she had my baby at another man's house, and she was already pregnant by another man. So with that being said, I failed the marriage, you know, and I'm glad it happened because it forced me to be a man. I got married at the tender age of 20 years old, wasn't ready, didn't know nothing about marriage, wasn't ready for it. So everything I did, which marriage don't have a blueprint on it anyway, but I was making all types of irresponsible decisions. And so it happened. We got divorced in 2018. What happened when what happened? 2 years later, got remarried, making more money than I ever have. I understand my mistakes from my first marriage. And sometimes me and my wife now don't see eye to eye. And And even, let's just say this marriage failed, I understand that I'm still finding myself. What am I mean when I'm saying this? The road to success is a lot of failures. See, failures is necessary. If you're afraid to fail, then you're afraid to succeed. So I could have been like one of those guys, like, I ain't never getting married again. I ain't doing it again. And I'm not going to do that, because I know that I come from a long line of married men, and this is what I want in my life. And I make room for the things that I want in life. And I want a wife, I want family, I want kids, I want structure. So with that being said, I say that to say this: you can fail at something, but then you'll get it right eventually if you keep trying. See, Michael Jordan, he was on a court. I guarantee you Michael Jordan missed way more shots than he made. The best singer you know probably got way more terrible songs in the vault he never released. See, when you make an album, you make so many songs, but you release like the best 10. You in there working. So in life, you're always in the metaphorical lab of getting your shit together. And no, I did not have to go through what I went through in my early 20s. It was a very dumb mistake that I made to do it that early, where I wasn't ready for. But even those failures, those losses, those lessons taught me something. Now my test is a testimony. And if somebody walk along that path, I could say, hey, don't do this. But if you shall do this, expect this, and how to handle this. You are always going to be an example of what to do and what not to do. The point of the story I'm trying to make is, just because you failed, there's always something after. There's always something to gain, and there's something you can pass along. I had a first failed marriage. My second marriage, it could fail today. I will learn what not to do in the second marriage. I will learn what to tolerate, what not to tolerate. It could succeed. My second marriage is nowhere near as bad as the first one. I don't make the same mistakes I made. I got married in 2020, got divorced, and I got married in 2012, got divorced, and got remarried in 2020. The guy in 2012 and the guy in 2020, those are two different men. One of those men got more experience. One man don't know nothing, they're still wet behind the ears. One of the men had a job. The other man didn't have a job. He just was a college dropout and trying to find a job, running away to Talladega to get married. And even though the guy in 2020 is a little more sharper than the guy in 2012, the guy in 2020 still have a lot to learn. He still have a lot to learn, because fast forward from 2020 to 2023, it's certain things that it's certain moves knowing now that I wouldn't have made knowing what I know now, because I see the effects. See, the things you do in your younger years have an effect. You're going to still be paying for some of that shit 10 or 15 years down the road. So be mindful of your actions. You don't know. Imagine throwing a rock in the water and look at the ripples of the water. That's how life is. The shit that you do today have an effect on your tomorrow. If you ever know what your body looked like, imagine what you ate yesterday. Not what you ate today. Look at what you've been eating for the past days. That's why your body looked the way it looks. Your actions, you could be paying for whatever actions you make. You could be paying for those actions 15 years down the road. Be mindful. Continue to embrace greatness and walk in positivity. Let the light in you shine so bright that it illuminate the path for others to see in themselves. Always go within so you don't go without. For those who need it, I hope you can read it. And yo, if my ex-wife ever watched this and stumble along this video, I wanna say that I apologize for my part. I want to apologize. We both wronged each other, but I would love to apologize for not knowing what I'm doing and didn't have the strength to tell you that we wasn't ready and stand firm in it. Because that's what I did. I did tell her that. I told her we wasn't ready. I told her we wasn't ready, and she said, you don't love me. And, you know, and I had to show her I love her with my young mind, being 20 years old and irresponsible. But looking back on that, I should have took that temporary resentment for a longer line of appreciation. And she did what's best for her. And I respect that. Continue to embrace greatness and walk in positivity. Let the light in you shine so bright to illuminate the path for others to see in themselves. Always go within so you don't go without.